Let's see if this will update on its own. There it goes. Alrighty. Well, I am back, and it is time for part two of my trip to Syracuse in the summer of 2005. Yesterday we went to Syracuse. Today we are coming back, although yesterday we started on the return trip, and this time we are going to probably kick off at Albany. I'm on an Empire Service train, one of the one that originates from Niagara Falls at like 3 a.m. And so I'm starting out with some side window pictures, but at Albany they opened up the back car, and I'll be able to get some rear view shots on the actual parts of the Hudson Line. So let's just kick off here with some Amtrak MOW equipment at CP14, the little CP dwarf from CP143 there. As I said, because of the high-speed nature and lack of freight, Amtrak had responsibility for the maintenance north of CP125. So here we can see some of their track equipment there. Just gonna name this here. So I began this trip right after they activated the New York State Senate Assembly President Joe Bruno Albany Rensselaer Rail Station, which replaced the old Amshack in the Albany Rensselaer area. And God, here we go again. Don't know what the deal is on this guy. Come on. There it goes. Or not. But anyway, so all, on any of the upstate or out of upstate trains, there's going to be a good deal, a fairly decent amount of layover time or padding time at the Albany station. So I had a bit of free time to even get into the station, which at the time was new and shiny. In the few years after it, I actually came to this location quite frequently because I had a friend who was going to Rensselaer Polytechnic, and let's see if I can use some color balance to help this one out. And I would, since I just gotten out of a relationship, I know her really better to be. So I sort of started coming up there on most of the 3-day weekends, or sooner. But anyway. Let's see what I named this back in the day. So here we are at the station, and the Lakeshore shuttle is backing in, or taking off. Let's see. I'm not sure what it would have been doing. Oh, happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This is I guess a Thanksgiving sort of broadcast here. Oh, it's the departing 448. Yeah, there was some weird. Okay, I guess we were running right behind. If you'd seen my other pictures, I think that the 48 had come in right ahead of my train, or had come a bit before my Empire train, and then we showed up right as it was leaving. So you can see the train 48 is leaving there, and 448 is heading to Boston up the Post Road. Or he's backing up onto something. I don't know. But that is definitely 48 and 448 right there. So that's still doing stuff today, but today they have extra engine tracks, and the 448 can access at least track 1 and, or at this point you had main track 1 and track 2. Now it can get to both those, which I think is track 1, track 2. I don't know how they numbered the tracks. I got to go back and check it out. But 48 can use both those tracks to get to the Post Road. Oh, there he goes. So this is actually not a bad little photo because it's got both 48 and 448 doing their thing. Today, I don't know, there's so much padding and stuff. I'm not sure if this is even possible with how they handle the 48 split. But I think back then they didn't have a baggage car in the back, and I think that they just pulled. They might have been running. Oh, that's right. I think they were running it at 448 as a shuttle. And they weren't pulling cars off the lakeshore. I forget what the reason was, but I think 448 was a shuttle. And there's no sleeper. They had a sleeper shortage, I think, and they couldn't run it as a shuttle. So that's why it's I caught it leaving on time, because it was just there sitting on main track. 48 rolled in, passengers transferred over to the shuttle, and then they both took off at the same time. So there you go. That's how that worked. Yep, sometimes you forget how trips went 13 years ago. Not sure what was up with my camera. The Olympus cameras I had generally didn't have the color correction problems that my current Canons do. But this seems to be shooting cool this day. My engine, of course, the 715 P32 AC DM. I forget if there's 15 of those or 20. Fortunately, I don't have interlocking charts, so I can't really number these signals properly. Let's see how I can fix this one up. Just don't really want that that railing in there. It's kind of nasty. There you go. I'll make it a little narrower, but the track 2 dwarf is offset because of the need to connect to the quote-unquote main track there. Moving on. Yep, here are some of the here are the units that I assume were pulled off 48 here. This area is now part of the expanded platforms for both the tracks. That was in part of the Albany Station rebuild project. So the original Albany, this was where the Amshack was. That's the commissary, and the Amshack is sort of off frame past that transformer over there. It might have been demolished at this point. I don't think so, but I'm not entirely certain. And here are the original Albany platforms. You had this sort of low-level island, and then you had a sidewall here, and it was served by an Amshack with no, you just sort of walked across the tracks, and there were some canopies out there too. And then they rebuilt it with the Joe Bruno station, which I think it only opened like a year, maybe even less than a year earlier. But a bunch of the old buildings were still, you could still see, even up until recently, a lot of the old infrastructure. So, unfortunately, I never really wandered out on the low level. They kind of didn't want you doing that, so I never really got a chance to take pictures of CP143 started all the way down at the other end of the platform. In fact, with the new high-level platforms, they usually can't partition those off, so I can probably wander down there for some better photos. We'll see. I'll be back. I already have my ticket, so I'm taking a trip up there in late January. So we'll see how that works. Now, of course, my train was at least on time. He had the signals up for it, but I did a quick dash into the station, definitely wanting to get some photos of the new interior, just to see how it looked. See, this is a tough color correction. I'm shooting through a tinted window. The color correction just turns it green. Maybe I can try turning it more purple. Nah, I don't want purple. Yeah, not much you can really do. Just it's unsightly either way. So I'll just try increase saturating it a bit. Notice the signals pulled up for the Empire train. Yep, here we have the new Albany the New York State Senate Assembly President Joe Bruno Albany Rensselaer Rail Station. He ended up in jail, actually. He represented, I think, the Saratoga area, but was sort of instrumental in getting the money for the station. But but yeah, he's currently. I'm not sure if he's out, but he was corrupt, upstate Republican guy. Very nice station, even to this day. Still looks nice. The recent rebuild is pretty much confined to the track area, but the station area has held up very, very well over the years. Anyone traveling to Albany, the Albany area, should definitely take Empire service from New York. Very convenient. There you go, a little color correction, fix that right up. Yeah, something about high sun turns a lot of these digital pictures blue. Blue shifts them. All right, and as at some point I noticed that the back car had then been opened, and I was able to do some vestibule work right here. Now, my original little digital camera only had like a 3x zoom. So at 90 miles an hour, which is the track speed in this area of the lower Hudson Line, well, it's not lower Hudson Line. It's not the Amtrak part, but it's not the Metro North part. That's the CSX part in the middle. Well, the old part. Oh, this is just can't really resize that. So I was doing the best I could, hanging out the back of the train, trying to get the signals. Where south of not Rensselaer, Rhinecliff, they have a bunch of classic New York Central signal bridges that are still in service. This is maybe a 3-track example. I think that I don't know. These are not these are old school signal bridges. But I don't know how they would have been doing things with, where were the old interlockings? Where did things go from 2 tracks to 3 tracks to 4 tracks? Were those remote? Were those, is it CTC? It's just really hard to find. I just don't have the good resources for that. Ironically, these are my only north-facing photos of a lot of these signal bridges, because I almost always do the trips in the southbound northbound. So I'm southbound. It's 83, yeah. I usually do it for the last number of years. We've been splitting Amtrak companion coupons. I really should have. He won't pay for the business class to do the stuff out the back. So, but he usually flies up so I can take the train up by myself, and then a lot of that lets me do whatever I want. So, let's see who's around in the chat. Nope, not too many people today. Whatever. Not letting me type right now. So, probably not the best day to be doing a stream. But I don't have much choice because I guess I could have taken the night off. But I am looking to, with my reduced ability to do streams of this type, I need to do them when I have the ability to do them. This is definitely a 4-track signal bridge. And I actually have up-close photos of it from the ground. I went there a couple years ago. This is Signal 81, and it's accessed. That's a Marina Road that you can get down to it pretty easily. That one before it, find it here. 83 also has a road real near, but I did not go there the last time, and I really want to get back up there, but I got to schedule it. I do those trips with another friend. This one I think is inaccessible, the 86. And this one is kind of accessible, but you'd have to go over fences, and I didn't want to do that when I was with people. Because there's a yacht club there, and or something, and that makes, they've sort of cordoned off the right of way, not because it's the right of way, but just because, like, that's where they are. This is the 79 signal. You got one more. Here we go. Yeah, this is the 77 signal. There's another one that's sort of in the middle of a causeway. Clearly a 4-track bridge. And you can see the code line. Now, you don't have the, it's not a traditional code line with the open wires, but at some point in the 70s they replaced it with the that one right there. So those are out of service on the bottom, but that little one right there, they sort of put the telecom style PVC wrapped wires in there, and so it does operate very much like it used to. It's just a little bit slightly modernized with Bell system technology, pretty much. Here we are at CP75, where it goes from Amtrak to Metro North. Amtrak starting immediately north of the signals right there is where the division post is. Just got to straighten this out a bit. Metro North crews are qualified to go one train length beyond the signals without having to get NORAC qualified. They can move at restricted speed up to some amount of feet, because they can go past the interlocking and then come back into it. I love this because you have Metro North signals, the little dwarfs for southbound, and you have the full service Amtrak signals going north. You don't see this at their other division post. That's definitely a little nifty. But these are the last full service signals on Metro North. The ones gating access to the north. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what I called these back in the day. So I guess I just did this as Hudson Highlands. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to try. Today, I have all this stuff, pretty well. You got to give mileposts so you can identify it, so you can just sort of scroll through, using the mileposts as primary, as you can sort them by name, and it'll give you. But I'm not doing that with these older photos. I'll grandfather them in for the sake of not having to deal with figuring out mileposts. We'll need the CP, though. bit annoying. So this is interesting. They got the high-speed points here. I'm pretty sure it's an 80 mile-an-hour crossover. Maybe not. I don't know. It's definitely something. Metro North didn't have, at this point, Metro North didn't have 60s. Let's see which one it is. First, what did I call it back in the day? I think I ignored it. Yeah, I didn't know what the hell it was, so now I do. Just gotta go south of Poughkeepsie somewhere. Where the hell am I? Alright, let's find where the interlockings are. Could be CP61. Nope, that's not it. Looks like CP53. I knew it was 50 something. Well, hold on, let's double check this. Yep, that lines up. It's CP53. I actually can get the switch number of that, but I don't have the booklet on me. I have a copy of the books, the switch guide for all that stuff. Tells you what all the switch numbers are in Metro North. Might have to re-deal with that later. And which tunnel is this? Cold Spring Tunnel. Alright, moving along. Oh, I guess the old Bear Mountain Tunnel. With some shotcrete there. I don't think Bear Mountain Tunnel never had any, had a portal. And maybe I'll keep that little thing, but definitely try to get some color correction. So that's the, for those who don't know, that's the Bear Mountain Bridge. The first bridge north of the Tappan Zee I think it's like a 1600. It's a slightly longer span than the Benjamin Franklin in Philadelphia. That's what I know. Might have been the longest suspension bridge in the world for a brief period of time. I'll brighten that up. Try a little color correction. Brighten it more. One more of the Bear Mountain Bridge. Very pretty. That might be worth looking it up. It's only 2 lanes though, so it gets pretty. It can get congested at times. Although all of Route 6 in that area is 2 lanes, and that can also get congested. So usually the bridge isn't the limiting factor. Another tunnel. Almost looks like a natural slide snow shed. This is the Mount South Tunnel. I'm sure there's a different name. Maybe I can just look up the name. The Bear Mountain Bridge has a span of 1632, and it was built in okay, this is the one that the Ben Franklin Bridge surpassed as I think the longest bridge in the world, the longest suspension span in the world. Alright, moving on to the next set of photos. All sorts of fun stuff here. Alright, here we go. Yeah, and in later years, I would definitely use a milepost. I would adopt a milepost system for this, but I'm just, like I said, I'm not going to try to fit it in. Might rename things slightly though. Here we have town of Peekskill and the Peekskill grade crossing. Trains are going slow enough here that it doesn't really matter that there's a grade crossing. Yes, and here again the right of way is clearly 2 tracks, but further on, past Poughkeepsie and stuff, it's 4 tracks. So I just don't know where all these 2-track to 4-track things were there towers there, were they remote controlled, when did they go remote control? Here we have the, I forget the name of these tunnels. I was actually here getting photos. And we are on the sort of abnormal track 3, I think. I know these are named, so I'll go get the name on them. Okay, I have to go look up the photos manually then. I wonder if they're on this machine. Let's get them out of Google Photos quick enough. Come on. So I went on a field trip with my friend, and to that location a couple years ago. But as you would have it, I think it was in the spring. It wasn't that long. So I just got to locate them real quick. Don't think it was with the Port Jervis line trip. I think that was like the following year. It's always a pain to find these when you don't know where they are. Alright, let's try to find them in the thing here. Cold Spring Tunnel. There you go. Wait. Oh, sorry. That's where I'm at. Can't do a search because it'll just destroy my computer right now. I did a brief trip to visit my friends. Here we go. The Cortland Tunnel. That's it. Boom. Yep, that's the one. Sometimes you just gotta go, you know you have the answer somewhere, you just gotta go dig it out. Alright, moving on. Sorry for that little interlude there. Oh, the Metro North deadline with some of the CDOT SPVs, and way in the background, what are those? Those might be, oh, those are buds. Those are 2 generations of self-propelled bud units there. Better, much better photo of CD Tower. Partly because the train was slowing for the stop at Croton. Just confirm what the original name was here. Come on. We'll move on. See, there we see a HM Tower with the some of the signals in the foreground. I'll just crop that out and crud. Yep, that's it. Now, I definitely used the clarification filter on the CD tower picture before. So maybe I can try it again. Yeah, see, it washes it out. So you kind of got to put back the, you got to resaturate it. But it looks a little bit better. Here I'm just going to let's see what I do with this one. Nope, nope, nope. It's 2N. What? Looks like I got a free pass on this one. I'm not sure I even named it before. So here we have the OW Tower at Terrytown. This was under threat of demolition with the Tappan Zee Bridge project, but that did not come to fruition. It's kind of gutted right now, but it's hanging in there. It's hanging in there. That is some sort of power plant. I'm not sure which one. Come on. You know, that's what I don't get. Oh, back to the search we go. Just gonna scan down and find where the power plant is. That looks like it. There it is. It's the Glenwood Power Station. Looks like it's popular with the abandoned crowd, the urban exploration crowd. Okay, that's done for. The hell? That's the Glenwood station. So this way I can tag it in with the Glenwood power station. It works. Here we have the north end of what is this? What CP is that? CP12. Formerly a it's a cute little overpass nowhere. There are a lot of overpasses leading to old wharfs and docks and marinas and stuff that no longer exist. Here we take the Hudson Line. It's all over. Here we go. Now, DV Tower for Sput and Dival was demolished a couple years ago. This is why people were really scared about OV and some of the other ones, MO, etc. But fortunately, the money ran out, or there's just general dysfunction. We're not entirely sure what the deal is, but they seem to have at least halted on their plan to begin with. And these New York Central towers are very, as I said, they're very rare. On the private sector, these were all demolished to reduce the property tax burden. But on the public sector, they don't pay property taxes, so they just left them up, except this one, which is, got wrecked. Also note the prefab concrete relay hut of the type that you would see at the remote interlockings, further up the line. There's one of those today at CP 124, for example. Let's just see what I named this one. So here's a wonderful picture of the Inwood Drawbridge. This was the thing that this summer was picked up and rehabilitated by Amtrak, resulting in a Empire connector shutdown for most of the summer. But here we have this wonderful view of DV through the truss of the Amtrak's Inwood movable bridge. And I have sort of a duplicate photo of that, and I'm just going to, the first one I labeled as a DV photo. If I have two similar photos, I'll try to split up the labels. That way, one will appear on one search, and the other one will appear on another search. So it can ease some of the discovery issues. Not sure I can really, might just have to, unless I'm going to cut this one into a square. Maybe that's the best option. Again, you know, it was thanks to nice crews and or indifference that come on. I was able to get that nice vestibule ride, but again, no GoPro, no, you know, 90 photos on the memory cards. You know, I had to bide, you know, really hold my shots. And you know, again, I'm going to lament that the ultimate tragedy is back in a time where we had so much worth preserving and documenting, we lacked the means to efficiently document it. We've got some nice photos of the Empire Connection. That's the old West Side Highway. I forget what that part of the trip is. That's where it is. It's in that. There's that viaduct on the one train. There's a lot of topology in Manhattan people don't realize. And up around, where is this? 130th Street. There's a dip resulting in the one train having this viaduct and the Henry Hudson Parkway, and this all sort of running together on a viaduct. Yeah, the tax issue was something that was somewhat unique to New York State. Um, they did fix it. The legislature did make that more of less of an issue. Yeah, I'm using a so anyway. Sorry if stuff's sort of dying. It's because for some reason, even though I'm not using it, a combination of the browser and just having my file system churning to sort stuff causes the something to thrash. Here's another fun. Here's Empire interlocking, whatever switch that is. The only switch. It's either 11 or 21. If I guess it, I'm sure I guess wrong. I don't have any of my documentation with me. I'm not at my normal computer. I'll have to just adjust it later. Probably the 12 switch. Amtrak uses a fairly straightforward switch numbering system based on what tracks are involved, but I can never remember what, you know, if you have a switch between track 1 and track 2, is it the 12 or is it the 21? Probably something to do with the prevailing direction. Getting down there. Ah, here we go. Here we are into the not covered over by a hotel Penn Station, open block between 9th and 10th Streets, or 8th and 9th. I think it's 9th and 10th, with a NJT Arrow 3 coming in there. So, yeah, the lack of, I mean, I know that I'm sure Amtrak got a boatload of dollars for that, but it's still a huge shame. Oh. Always got to resize. Sorry if this isn't the most I'm not the most energetic here. And here we have this wonderful photo showing how the Empire connector sort of works. With the ladder track. To the E yard. Yeah, this is just a wonderful photo. Twilighty time of day, or it's definitely afternoon. Probably around 4 or 5. Yeah, that's a fun photo right there. I think the last one. So at this point, I was still seeing someone up in Connecticut, and I caught a Metro North train, New Haven line up to New Haven, and I couldn't even tell you what regional this was, but Metro North trains frequently can time better than Amtrak on the slowest balls New Haven route. So I'm not sure what I should call this.